Welcome back, everybody.
Ooh.
So a lithium battery company named Power Queen reached out to us and they gave us 2 of their 100 amp hour lithium batteries to try out and test and evaluate and make a review for. So this is going to be the unboxing. I'm going to do 3 videos for these batteries. So the first video right now is going to be an unboxing, and I'm going to give an outline of what my plans are for them. And then the second video is going to be a detailed installation video where I'm going to install these into the RV. And then the third video is going to be a thorough test, and we're going to run these things and put them through their paces and see just what they've got. So let's open these up and let's see first off what the packaging and everything looks like. So got the trusty box cutter. I'm going to put it on where it just barely sticks out, just enough to cut the tape. Don't want to cut the box. So far I like the packaging. Looks real good. Taped up really nice. That's what you want. You want to make sure this stuff gets to you safe. Alright, got our instructions. Okay, looks like the bolts for the battery posts are inside here. I'll just leave them in there for now. Okay, I'm going to set both of these boxes on the ground real quick and open them both up. I decided to do this this unboxing out here in the beautiful wide open of the ranch here. Okay, so the battery came encased in this really good reusable foam. It keeps the battery really squared away inside the box, so I give that a thumbs up on the packaging. And as always, it's just amazing how light these lithium batteries are. So there's one. Let's get out the second one. Same thing, you can open up the box, cut it open carefully. Once again, we have our second set of instructions. I love the way that comes. This battery cannot move inside this box at all. And I really like that. I might very easily save these right here and reuse them in part of my installation. And I'll tell you some more about that here in a few minutes. Okay, we got everything all put away there. Okay, so first off, we can see here that we've got 2 lithium batteries, and they're based on 12.8 volts, where a normal lead acid 12 volt battery system is based on 12.0. Okay. Also, you'll notice that they are right here. What does this mean? Okay. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of reviews done, and I've seen a lot of potential confusion over what this actually means. So what does this mean? Okay, what LiFeP04 means, okay, is this is the periodic table of elements for lithium, Li, iron, Fe, and phosphate 4. What this actually means is lithium iron phosphate. Okay, lithium iron phosphate. It doesn't mean LiFeP04, and it definitely doesn't mean what I mistakenly thought they were. I thought that these were all lithium ion phosphate, and they're not lithium ion phosphate. A lithium ion battery is like what's powering the GoPro that you're watching this from right now, or what powers your cell phones, or your portable drills, okay? Those are the batteries that heat up. They get really hot. They get hot when you charge them. They get hot when you use them. Those are the batteries initially that you were seeing the FAA outline going on airplanes and things like that because of how hot they got. That's why they came up with a different technology of lithium iron phosphate. And I'm not exactly sure, but I think that this technology came from, possibly from the electric cars from Tesla. They wanted to come up with a battery that could be charged a lot quicker and didn't have the heat problems. The biggest thing was the heat problems and the fire, which is why running a lithium iron phosphate is a much safer battery than running lithium ion. And a lot of the early lithium batteries, even the larger ones like this, were also lithium ion batteries, okay? And there were a lot of people that were buying the original small cells. Those were lithium ion cells, which you always have that chance of heat problems, and where there's heat, there's fire. So it's much safer to run batteries like this. And now with the price point that they have batteries like this at, it doesn't make sense for anybody not to upgrade to a good quality lithium battery. And I can tell you about this company, PowerQueen. They reached out to us, and when they told us they were going to send us these batteries, we had them in 2 days. And we don't even go pick up our mail that often because we live, 2 hours away from town, off grid. We only go into town a couple of times a month. And these batteries were there right away. So we made a special trip into town just to pick them up. And I'm very excited because our 400 amp hour lead acid AGM batteries are finally to the point where they're wore out. They're a little over 4 years old. They've been used. They haven't been abused, but they have been well used, and they are starting to finally lose their ability to perform in the cold weather, especially now that we're heading into winter. So my plan for the installation for these, I'm really excited, okay? We live in a very cold environment here. Every night it's been getting down to 12, maybe sometimes 14, 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that's too cold to charge a lithium battery. So I plan on building a insulated battery box for these batteries, and I'm going to put my own heating system in there to keep these batteries heated. And it's going to work really, really well. And I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to build that in the installation video. Building my own heated battery box is going to allow me to use these batteries no matter what the temperature. And I've been doing a lot of research on lithium batteries, and you can actually use lithium batteries down below freezing. A lot of people think that you can't even use lithium batteries below freezing. You can use lithium batteries below freezing, and it's not until the actual internal temperature of the cells themselves get below 32 degrees that there becomes a problem. And even when it's below freezing, you can still charge them. You just have to be a very weak charge. It can't be a very powerful charge. Now I also have all Victron components, so every one of my Victron components, my battery monitor, my charge controller, and my inverter all have cold weather lithium battery charging protection built into them. So I'm going to utilize all that to my advantage and build a battery box that is able to heat itself from a very small amount of power from the batteries when I decide to have it on. So I'm really, really excited to get these things hooked up and tied together. Also, I wanted to say something real quickly about tying batteries together, okay? I plan on tying these together. And since I'm going to use these in a 12-volt configuration, I'm going to hook them up in parallel, which parallel means I'm going to hook up the positive to positive and the negative to negative. And what that does is it maintains the 12 volts, but it stacks your amps. Since there's two 100 amp battery monitoring systems in this, or BMS, it actually doubles that by having them tied together. So I'll have the equivalent of a 200 amp BMS, okay? And what I'm going to use to tie my batteries together is what everybody should be using, which is the right size wire. Now, I made these a little bit long because I may turn my batteries this way and I may go across. I'm not sure. I'm probably going to end up having my batteries spaced apart a little bit like this for insulation purposes, okay? I'm gonna make a very, very well insulated battery box. The most important thing to remember when you're tying your batteries together is you want your leads to be all the same size, okay? In other words, let's say you're tying 2 batteries together or 3 batteries together or 4 batteries together. You don't want to have, say, 3 batteries tied together with all this size leads and then have a 4th battery, say, 4 feet away or 5 feet away with a whole run over there, okay? An electrician explained to me a long time ago electricity in the most simple terms, okay? It's just like flowing water, okay? If you want water to flow freely, right, you have to have all the size of your plumbing very even and the same size. You also want your plumbing to be as big a size as possible, right? What size is this? 40 AGW, okay? This is 4/0 welding cable. This is as big as you can get, okay? This can carry extremely high amp loads, okay? Now, tying these together, yes, you could get away with 2-gauge wire. You don't even need 0 or even double 0 or 4/0. But remember the flow in water principle, okay? We want the power to be able to flow very easily between the batteries, right? So why would I use a small straw when I can use a big tube, right? We want no restriction. I want no restriction between these batteries. That way, if I have to put, let's say my inverter wants to fire up my microwave and suddenly it wants to put a 130 or 140 amp DC draw on these things, okay? These aren't gonna get hot. Let's say I'm charging these things with 100 amps, which can be done. These are not gonna get hot. They would if they were smaller. Length of wire equals resistance. And you know you've got your size right if your wires stay cold. If they get warm, heat is resistance, right? All right, let's take a look at their instructions here. Okay, so the charge voltage is 14.4. The max continuous load is 1280 watts. And the max charging current is 100 amps and the max discharge current is 100 amps. That's because it's got a 100 amp BMS. But when I have the two tied together, it splits them. So I'll be able to draw actually closer to 200. And look at this, it gives you inverter settings. It tells you where to set everything for your inverter. It tells you on your charger how to set your charger. The nominal voltage is 12.8. 100 amp hours of usable capacity. Recommended charge current is 20 amps. Life cycle is 4,000 cycles. So it looks like discharge range, we can go down to minus 20 degrees Celsius. So my heating system is definitely going to work good. And the great thing about lithium batteries is you don't get a voltage drop like you do with lead acid batteries. In other words, these batteries are probably going to stay above 13.0 until they're down well below 20%, which is just completely awesome. Okay, here it gives you the exact specs for, more detailed specs for an inverter. This tells us at what percentage, what voltage we're going to be at. So yeah, once again, we have to go down below 20% before we drop below 13. That's excellent. And once again here, look, this tells you how to tie your batteries together. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're connecting in series or in parallel. Okay, notice in the pictures, they're showing you using all equal lengths. Okay, they don't show, you know, 2 batteries here and 2 batteries here, or 3 batteries here and 1 battery here, or they show all the batteries always together the same distance apart, and they always show you running the same length of wire, which is very, very important. And the most important thing, always connect your leads for the load from one end of the system to the other. Okay, you don't attach them both to one battery at one end. Okay, that's just That's just electric 101. And right here, they're telling you to do the exact same thing. That's exactly how I'm going to be tying mine together, except I'm only going to have 2 batteries instead of 4. And of course, it gives you just some more basic information, telling you about charging, about solar charging, tells you about what to do if the BMS shuts the battery off for safety, anything like that. Gives you an idea of all the different applications. As far as off-grid or for RVs, you cannot beat this battery in this deal. This company right now is running a special. I believe they've got an excellent special coming up for Black Friday, and just even their normal price, you just can't beat it. Go to the Power Queen website and check them out. Give them a try. Because I'm going to actually use these batteries, I'm not going to cut them apart and show you what the inside of them looks like to give you an idea of the quality of their construction. But I will tell you, I have watched many other YouTube videos where the other creators have cut the batteries apart, and these things are extremely well made. I will say, because they have this larger case for 100 amp hour than some of the other brands out there, there's more packing inside. There's more foam for cushioning and things. It's really well built. I was very impressed. And underneath this lid, they had a lot of silicone around the edge to seal it, even though they're not technically a waterproof battery. From what I saw, I would not be afraid to have these things get a little bit wet. I would not submerge them or anything, but I wouldn't be afraid. So let me go show you where I'm going to be installing these in the next video. Okay, so this is where the installation is going to happen. So these are my 2 400 amp hour 6 volt AGM lead acid batteries. And these are monsters. These are twice the size of a regular Trojan or anything like that. Each one weighs 128 pounds. And the new batteries are basically going to take up no more of a footprint. So when I take these 2 out, I'm going to build a battery box in here. I'll probably have them separated with a piece of insulation in between, and the outside of the battery box is going to have a heater go around it. And what I'm planning on using are RV tank heaters, and I'm going to build a special enclosure with 2-inch insulation board. And I'm also going to attach the heating pads to some sheets of aluminum to disperse the heat evenly. And I think it's going to work out great. The temperature range that those tank heaters run from is they turn on at 43 degrees and they turn off at 63. And then with 2 inches of insulation board around these things, the tank heaters probably won't hardly ever need to come on. I will put them on a master toggle switch, so only when the weather's cold enough, I'll just turn them on, then they'll come on and off as they need to be. And the second the weather's above freezing, I flip the switch off. Also, you can't beat how light these batteries are. 24¼ pounds, okay? A normal battery, there's no way with one arm off to the side I'd be able to pick it up like that. The batteries that these are replacing weigh 128 pounds each. That means that these batteries are 103 pounds lighter than the ones they're replacing. That is amazing. Power Queen 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries. Check them out. The price you just cannot beat, and the quality. I give these batteries a thumbs up, and I cannot wait to install them. Stay tuned for the detailed installation video where I build a heated battery box for these batteries and hook them up and put them to the test. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing.